I will start with a brief introduction to the history of print. Designs on textiles were made historically by painting on the fabrics. In the 5th century before Christ, the history teller Herodotus writes about how Persians crushed leaves and mixed them with water. With this tincture, animals were painted on clothing. As humans have always had the will to embellish and mask themselves, is probably a technique as old as the clothing itself. Batik is a technique that historians believe derived from the east of Asia or China, most probably from Indonesia. The word derives from the Javanese word ambatik, which means put dots, write and draw. Batik is one of the most ancient ways to color and print textiles that we know about. It's made by painting the fabric with hot wax that prevent the cold dye to penetrate the fabric. After waxing, the fabric is tinted or painted. Then the wax is removed by solvent or boiling the fabric. Woodblock printing was invented in China. The oldest found silk is more than 2,000 years old, and it's a tricolour flower print from the Han Dynasty. Even before that, small stamps were used to print. In Mesopotamia, they had made round stamps to print in clay. The block printing technique spread from China to the rest of Asia. Also, the first screen prints are from China and were made during the Song Dynasty, 960 to 1279. Also, this technique spread in Asia and got largely used also in Europe, but first in the late 18th century, when the silk mesh was more available for trade. In the early 1910s, photoreactive chemicals started to get used to transmit the motifs to the screen. The Peruvians and Mexicans already knew the art of printing textiles before the Spanish invasion in 1519. The Olmecs in Central America made ceramic cylinders for textile printers 2,000 years ago. The European print techniques have its origin in India. France were the first adopting the cartoon print in the late 16th century that gave the name to the cotton fiber. Also, Holland were early adopters of the print techniques. From France, the art spread to Germany, and Augsburg got famous for its fine line printing. The Dutch East India Company introduced the printed calico fabrics even before it was brought to France. Holland was the first country to imitate Indian chintz. The Indian word chint means multicolored. When the Englishmen started their cartoon printing, they took help from the Flemish manufacturers. Thomas Bell printed with engraved copper plates. He invented the roller or cylinder print machine. It was patented in Scotland in 1783. The technique was perfected by Adam Parkinson in order to keep the rolls in perfect register, and in 1785 the machine was taken in use printing 6 colors in a row. In Paris in 1834, Louis Jérôme Perrault invented a mechanical way of hand printing that could print 1 to 5 colors and even make double-sided prints. The advantage with the Perrotin to the rouleau print was the transfer of a large amount of paste onto the fabric, so it was used for reserve prints, often with indigo dyes. Nowadays, this kind of machine is no longer in use. The British chemist William Henry Perkin invented the first synthetic organic dye in 1853. First he created the color mauveine from aniline and later also aniline red, blue and green. He set up a factory producing dyes industrially and continued developing new dyes. The latest textile print revolution started in the late 1980s with the development of the digital printing. This technique offers printing with a wider color range than earlier techniques. In the early 90s, the dye sublimation printer started to be used, a technique where the print is made on a special paper and then is transferred to the fabric. For a start, the digital print was very expensive, but now when the technique is developed and more common, the cost is more convenient. In the next sequence, I will talk about natural colors.